Okay, I was told we should start now. So, hola JNation, como vai? Unfortunately, this is my first visit to Portugal, so I didn't manage to master your beautiful language, and that was it. Sorry. Right, apologies. Yeah, but I'm really surprised that there are so many of you. I mean, this is one of the closing sessions, right? And despite the heat and everything, you're still in the room, right? I really enjoy it, which means that you are after testing. Very nice. So you can hear me, right? Which means the microphone works, so we've tested that. Very nice. Now let's do the audience check. Please raise your hand if you're in the room. Very nice. So we've checked the audience. I mean, fun fact, this session is about testing, right? So expect more things to be tested. And when it comes to fun facts, because people are still coming, there is one thing that is great for both Portugal and Poland at the same time. Both are great civilizations in Age of Empires in arena map, right? And Age of Empires fans? Yeah, yes. So when it comes to late game, right, our civilization is really shiny. I like it, right? So the organ guns and Fetorias, very good. All right. So briefly about myself, I already spoiled that, sorry. I came from Poland, like I live in Poland, I work from Poland, and so on. My name is Piotr Przybyl. You can find me there in social media. I work as a software gardener. Who knows what software gardener is or who software gardener is? Ooh, this test you failed, folks, right? Really. You should read this magnificent book called Pragmatic Programmer. It's a great book. I really recommend reading it. Then the authors will explain better than I can what software gardener is or who that person is. I also work as a trainer from time to time, and fun fact, as a speaker, because you can see me here on the stage, right? And sometimes when I have free time, I blog some stuff on my personal page called softwaregarden.dev. Question A, oh yes, sorry, it's still about me, right? Because I owe you an explanation. So I predominantly work with Java gardens, right? I started working with Java when there was Java 1.3. So I'm that old, apparently. And it's mostly backends, mostly like JDK and whatnot, but I did like also other stuff in my life. And the question is, who are you, right? So who's a Java developer? Okay, who's not a Java developer? It's really important for the talk because then I can, like, you know, change a little bit of flow. Very nice. Okay, very nice. Just because, sorry, I'm first time in like to Portugal, and this is like we're in the middle of the country, right? Who's not from Portugal? Who came from abroad? Ah, still some devoted developers. Ah, I like it. I like it. I like it very much. I love the spirit. Okay, so you look at me now. I'm the slides. Okay? Don't look there, I'm the slides. Do you recognize the lady? It's your granny, of course. She's your granny, or maybe, like, if you don't have grandma, you have that auntie that you love, or maybe you love your mummy, or something like this, right? And today it's Tuesday, thanks Lufthansa, and right, there's been a hell of a conference, right? It's really great, but you're tired, you're exhausted. And imagine this situation. Your granny calls you, or the lady you have like a lot of respect and love calls you, and she says, look, my child, unfortunately this COVID, this pesky thing, stroked me more than I expected. I still didn't regain my smell, right? So I still have issues trying to smell things. And now, I have gas stove in my kitchen, and I'm afraid it might be leaking gas. So can you come and do something about it, right? I need a detector, a device that when it detects that there is a gas leak, it will raise an alarm, for example, like, I don't know, so I can open the windows, or I can get up and go outside, right? Or call someone, like maintenance or whatnot, right? And we are software developers, right? And we love these beautiful ladies, and we have hard time trying to tell them, no, I won't do that, right? So we will do that, of course. And then, unfortunately, we put our software developer hat, and when we are facing this problem that we can, A, buy something that's already there, that's proved, certified, and whatnot, and B, we can build something our own, which not only will be more expensive, but also delivered after deadline, right? We immediately go after what? B, of course, because we're software developers, right? So please, let me be with you. Let me run this little experiment. Let's try to run it. Let's build a gas detector. And it's a proper experiment, mind you, right? So let's play some health and safety protocols. I know it's hot in here, right? But let's play it by the book. So what's the first thing you need to build a gas detector? Some kind of casing, right? You need some casing. You need to, can you see it all right? Yeah, let me just put my gloves on because, you know, rules are rules, right? Yeah, we need some kind of casing. And what's the first thing? Shout out, I have some lovely extra, I have stickers, just regular Testcontainer stickers over there. And for active participants, I have these super big premium ones, right? These ones. So you make sure you're active, right? So what do we need to build a gas detector? Come on. Come on. That's why you're not product owners. You need a sensor. You need something that will actually like see or like tell us that there is really like you know, gas, right? Detect it. And we didn't build this thing on our own. We just found it on the internet. It's very nice. It's already proven and certified and tested, right? And everyone on sourceforge.net uses it. Sorry. And it makes this lovely clicky sounds, right? So what do? It's certified and tested in the box, right? Then, what we also need, I guess, is some power source, right? So I have a power source. You see this eco ones with solar panel and whatnot. See, oh, very nice. And I need to test this thing if it's really providing us or giving us some power. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this mock, right, to see if it's really producing some power. Yeah, it does. Maybe I should keep it on. No, jokes aside, we're after serious things here. So power source in the box, right? What else do we need, right? When the gas is detected, we perhaps need some, yeah, exactly, some sound, right? So I have this like a speaker or something. Let's see if it works. Does it work? It does. It has poor taste when it comes to music, but it does. Okay, and we need for sure one last thing, which is we need blink blink. See? We need blink blink, and obviously we need more blink blink, because the more blink blink you do, it's obviously better. See? So I have more blink blink, and there's one less thing that's missing. Who said wires? There you go. This is your sticker. Come and get it. Yeah, of course, you never get wrong with wires. Now you put some wiring inside, right? And then we seal our lovely container, right? And we've built it. In French, it's voila, right? See, it has lovely faces. Yeah. Very nice, very nice. Now, who would install this thing at Granny's kitchen? Are you a manager? Usually it's managers who want to install it, right? Because despite these lovely faces, maybe it's not so nice, right? Or it's actually like this or this. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you look at this, right? It's not a proper gas detector, right? See, so we've tested every part that's inside. We put the things together, yet somehow the sum of the parts is not a proper gas detector. All right? So maybe we should fall back to option A. And a quick disclaimer, I'm going to use a device now, but I'm not recommending you or I'm not advertising this device. I just needed something like a gizmo, like a thing, like a requisite for the talk, right? So please keep that in mind. And that's it. This is it, right? This is a, as they say, like a proper gas detector. And can you see this? Yes. What does it say here? So what do? We push the button, baby, yeah. Oh, stop. That's enough, okay. Question, what did we just do? Someone said we tested. What did we test? Yes, exactly. We tested the button, and maybe we tested like the connection between the button and the speaker. Now, let me ask you this question. Let's picture this. It's almost midnight. Your granny is asleep, and there's a gas leak. And do you think that Mr. Gas would be so nice to, oh, I should wake up this lady, let me go and push the button? Gas usually doesn't behave this way, right? So what do we need to do to test it if it's really reacting to gas? No, we're not going to simulate it. We're going to do this scenario. That's the point. That's the point. We're gonna use it like, we're gonna do it properly. So let me prepare the valve because, you know, safety features and whatnot, right? Don't do that at home, kids. And to be extra sure, let me put it like an extra layer of safety, right? And now we're gonna use, does anyone speak Polish in this room? Very nice, because you won't spoil the joke. So, we're going to test this thing, or this thing, and we need Chad. And you might be wondering, what the heck? In Polish, Chad is a common name for carbon monoxide. This is one of the reasons why you should learn Polish, visit Poland, and whatnot. See? Let's do this, folks. Can you see this? I hope you can see this, right? Let's now try to intoxicate the atmosphere inside. Let me just play it safely. Okay, the valve. Come on, open it, open it. Yeah. And now, disclaimer, this is a demo. As you can see, it's a live demo. It might not work, right? Let's see. Where do I see it? I can't see it. Come on. Oh. Okay, let's try. And it's a live demo. It might not work. We shall see.
Carbon monoxide gas leaking. Please open the window and the door.
Very nice. We performed like 2 tests maybe with push the button maybe, and the other one which is a proper, well, some would say it's not a proper integration test, it's like this golden master test, whatnot, right? Question is, who would love to install this blink blink thing at the kitchen? And who would love to install this thing? Exactly. And now let me ask you this question. If this is the way we build the software, why we suddenly ditch this way or abandon it when it comes to human life? Like excuse my French, when the shit gets real. Somehow then, we change the hats. Somehow we come to reason. Somehow we realize that testing every part individually doesn't make as much sense as testing everything together. With this, we have confidence, right? I mean, we could go outside, vent it, and then you could take it, I mean, this very device, put it on your granny's kitchen, and you'll be, I mean, even, you know, after heavy conference days, being intoxicated, tired, you know, and whatnot, you'll be still confident that you can use this thing, right? Exactly. That's the point. That's the point, right? So, fun fact, this talk is going to be about test containers, right? Who's using test containers already? Okay, this is like an intro talk to test containers. I'm not expelling you from the room, I'm just letting you know, right? In case you're expecting something like, I don't know, bells and whistles. This is like how to start using test containers, right? And I hope I managed to convince you that integration tests are needed, right? Now, I would love to show you how simple they are, right? And yeah, for this, we're going to use test containers, which is a family of libraries. Quite conveniently, I have a screenshot of the page, right? And it's missing one technology here, which is Ruby. So, test containers is a family of libraries. It's not just for Java, it's for any of these languages that you see here, even more like Ruby, there's like a Scala wrapper, something like this, right? Yes, and whenever you need to know or do something with test containers, the good starting point is to go to testcontainers.org, right? This is where you should be going. And how test containers really works? It relies or stands on the shoulders of this giant called Docker. Who said Docker? I have a sticker for you as well. It's two already. Yeah. Exactly. The giant is called Docker. It's just, as with every giant, sometimes these giants are scary, especially when you're, I don't know, when you are a new member to the team, right? When you're a junior or you're like still at the university, and maybe you know how to Docker image pull, maybe you know how to Docker run container, and that's pretty much it, right? And here's the beauty of test containers, right? I mean, the libraries can be used in many awesome ways, and one of the perspectives you can like see them is that they are basically a translator from the language you know to Docker, right? So instead of doing stuff in Bash, in YAML, in I don't know, like whatever, you can do that, for example, in Java, in Python, even in Rust, apparently, and so on, right? And yeah, so today, I will introduce you the practical way, right? So let's say we're going to build like a gas detector again, and we're going to test it, right? So we are not only going to build it, but also test it. Mind you, this is for demo only, right? So yes, CO detector, which starts in less than 4 seconds, checks for the registered particles every second. So we need to make sure that every second it does bling, bling, right? And raises an alarm when we reach a certain level. I mean, this level is like, you know, out of thin air. It doesn't make sense, right? This is not proper science. This is not like safety. This is for demo only. Keep that in mind, right? So we're going to build and test CO detector, and quite conveniently, to make things faster, I already have this detector here, right? So let's. How do I run this thing? It's just I'm building an artifact, putting it into the container, right? So it's not like the obvious way of doing integration tests, and then I'm running the test on the artifact I've created, right? For Java, it's a .jar file. And I'm just running this, right? Let's say this is like a CI pipeline, and build success. Thank you very much, enjoy your party, right? No, of course not, right? I cheated a bit, because in the test, oopsies, in the test, we have all the tests disabled. So that's the only reason it's passing, right? So I cheated a bit. Or maybe, I don't know, we had like a senior developer in the room previously. I don't know, right? So this is the detector. How does it work? Let's go through this quickly. So this is the alarm level that above, I mean, when we reach this level, we want the alarm to sound. We want like the bling, bling alarm, like, right? And then we're going to record how many carbon monoxide particles we've detected, how many other particles are there, and then we're going to use HTTP server, because why not, right? Don't do that at home. And this is it's supposed to be pure vanilla Java detector, right? So I'm not using any frameworks and everything, anything like this. So it should be easy for, like, I mean, regarding like what your framework is, to understand. And I'm using this log FMT format, sort of, for logging. This is, I mean, I like this very much in Golang. Right, so I'm going to say starting equals, and then it's going to be when I'm starting it. Then I'm telling it by environment variable which port it should listen at, right? And then I'm creating the detector, and then I'm telling it like start operating, and then I like putting to the logs that it started and when did it start, right? And how does it work? It's, as you can see, it creates a simple HTTP server and handling just post and get requests. So when there's a post request, then I'm going to capture the particle, detect what particle that was, right? And for get, I'm just going to prepare a report because I want to play nicely with the users. I don't know, maybe extra interface or something. And then, yeah, I just response in JSON. And how do I start operating? I create an executor, and I schedule that fixed rate. So after 1 second, it should blink every second. So every second it should like blink and perform this check, right? And then, please don't do that at home. I'm simulating that it's starting for at least 3 seconds, right? So I'm slipping. So instead of like heavy, hardware warm-up or something, I'm just putting it sleep. But this is dull. Don't do that, especially in production code. And then I'm starting the down server, of course. And how performing the check looks like, I'm, again, in this log fmtish format, I'm saying checking. And when the checking took time, see, it's bad code. You've been warned. And then I want to see how many CO particles I have, how many other particles I have, right? And then I divide one by the other, and then if the level is raised or reached, sorry, I say or shout alarm, right? And just preparing report is using like a text block and whatnot. And how capturing the particle looks like, simple. I'm just analyzing the body or the payload of the post request. If it equals CO in any case, then I'm detecting it as a CO particle, else it's going to be other particle. Nice and easy. Code has been reviewed, so we can git push force, right? I'm kidding, of course not. Then, and I'm really shocked that I still haven't been contacted by JetBrains with some, I don't know, swags of appreciation or whatnot, because in this session, I'm teaching people, I'm showing people how to use IntelliJ properly. So, what is the most important shortcut in IntelliJ? No. Nice try, by the way, but it's in Linux or Windows, it's Control-Shift-T. And in Mac, it's like, sit down, it's like this pictograms, whatever T. And it will take you to a test for this piece of code, if it exists, and if it doesn't exist, it will create one for you. Right? So I have this test already there, so I'm clicking here, see, and then when I click Ctrl-Shift-T, it takes me back. So it's really nice for jumping, and you should start your like the reviews with that, right? With just examining the tests. No tests, rejected. Simple. Really. So how are we going to operate? See, after I build my artifact with main, it sits there, right? So I'm going to keep it as a mountable file that comes with the Testcontainers. And by the way, how do you start your journey with Testcontainers for Java? Oopsies, you go like here, and this is what you add. Right? You add org Testcontainers, and this is the latest version. And you put it, of course, in test scope, unless you're doing some other naughty things, right? And then, of course, you can add more. You can add for modules. You can add for framework integrations, I don't know, with Spring or with JUnit and whatnot. Today, I'm going to use Testcontainers vanilla Java, okay? Sort of, right? So I have this, which means I have this in my class path, and then I'm going, for my tests, I'm going to create a container. I need this box, and in this box, I'll be putting the artifact I've just created, right? So for this, I'm going to use OpenJDK 20 Slim. Who's using Java 20? Oh, come on, people. We have to cut it out, okay? We have to, like, you didn't record this, really. Anyway. We are going to copy this artifact from my machine inside the Docker container. Sort of, I'm going to put this detector inside this container, right? And I'm going to put it in into TMP detector jar. And I'm going to say expose this port, meaning that this port from the this is going to be this valve, right? From the inside, I'm going to tell it expose port 7890. And every time I run this container, the port will be random, which is very good because you don't want to always test against 8080 because then funny things happen in production. Yes. And I'm going to tell the thing by using environment variable that it should listen on this very port. And then because I'm using virtual threads, right? I need this enable Java, enable preview and then running this jar, right? So this is how I run the container. And this is the first test, so should start in less than 4 seconds. And how I do the whole thing. Let me, yeah, maybe it's better visible than this. When I go with this try with resource block, it means that containers created here, since Java 7 will be closed here, right? Test containers works with Java 8 and above, basically. right? In case you're stuck still with Java 8, you can still use it. And so I'm creating the test container here, and it will be cleaned, like stopped here. And then I'm telling the container to start, and then I'm accessing the logs of the container, splitting them into lines, and I'm filtering the lines to leave or to have at hand only these which start with start. Right, fun fact. And then you see I needed this log FMT format to split these lines to get the actual instance from the second part, right? And then I'm going to assert that these events contain starting and started, right? And at least one checking, right? I know that there should be one checking because I've read the requirements in Jira. This is how I know it, right? And then I need to like find this 4 seconds window. So I get this starting of this window. So from your side, it's going to be this, right? This starting point. And then I add 4 seconds. So this is end of the window. And inside this time window, I need to see that there was started, starting, started, and checking somewhere in between, right? That's why I have this plus 4 seconds. And see, the test was green, so maybe we don't have to run it. Or maybe let's play it by the book and let's run it. Will it work? Won't it work? What do you say? Test failed. Right, test failed. What did it fail? It says something. Maybe let me exit this presentation mode. Would be, I guess, somewhat better. I'll make the font big again. Right. And where was this? Here. No, not here. Here. Yes, here. So should start in less than 4 seconds. Failed, and it says, yeah, expected. So this was these are the logs that we got, right? Can you guys see that? All right, from back there. We still have some seats here, so we can come and sit. Like I don't know, 3, 4 chairs, something like this. Okay, and it didn't. So these are the logs, and they didn't contain started. That's why the test failed, right? And why did it fail? Maybe there was a bug in our detector, or maybe we are still, I don't know, do you have Spanish friends? It might be like, I've never been to Portugal, so I don't know if you have like friends in Spain, right? I have one friend in Spain, and his name is Manuel. You should always be friends with Manuel, really. And so I'm friends with Manuel, and Manuel told me that sometimes I need to use containers or test containers properly, right? And that thing is related to so-called waiting strategies. So it's a thing that's, or a concept that's unknown in Docker, because when you start your container, right? But test containers needs to know when to finish this call. I mean, for how long the container is starting and when it's considered to be started. So when you expose a port, by default, test containers assume when this port is like something listens using this port, then the container is ready. But fun fact, in our case, it's not the case. Because when we go to the detector, see, I am opening the port here in server start, right? And so in that very moment, test containers can assume this container is already up and running, but I'm putting started later. So now we have to tell test containers that our container is ready to operate or considered to be started when this log line appears, right? So we have to employ yet another waiting strategy, and that would be, I'm typing from memory, waiting for wait dot for log message. This is it. And now it's going to be regex, which is, I guess, started. Right, something like this. And let's make it appear once, right? And now let's rerun the test. This is a useful technique, for example, when you start databases, right? Or some like networking stuff, like message brokers or something. So you have to wait not only until they open the port, but also like a put into logs like database is ready, right? Something like this. And this thing is running. And how does it run? Test containers by default or normally perform some system checks that Docker should be at least 1.6, right? Something like this. And then it's pulling the image if I don't have it. I just happen to have it. And then it's like using this thing, like Ryuk is the Ryuk is the garbage collector. If you forget to stop the containers on your own, then it will, when the JVM dies, the JVM process, it will kill them for you, right? And yeah, so the container is starting, and somehow it didn't start, and maybe I messed up something here with this thing. Let's see. Maybe it expects something like this. Let's see again. Let's run it now here. Let's see. Maybe I just messed up with this message. I'm doing that from demo gods from memory. It's still starting. Why is it? Okay. Build success. So the test has passed. So now we are sure that the thing inside starts within 4 seconds now, okay? So this is like done, and now time for another requirement. It should check for registered particles every second. So we enable the second test, right? And again, similar stuff, and I'm now checking for the checking events, right? And now I'm using a utility. Elias described that beautifully a few sessions ago, so I don't have to go into details, right? A great thing coming from the AssetJ people, right? So between 3 and 4 seconds, I expect to have at least 3 checking events. See, I record or I capture how many checking events I have as a part of starting routine. Then I wait for 3 seconds, and between 3 and 4 seconds, I should have at least 3 events more, right? So within this 3 to 4 seconds time window, I should have at least 3 bling, bling, bling recorded, right? If it's not the case, it should fail. Okay, let's then run the test. Maybe here. Let's see if it works from IDE. Should check at least once per second. Okay, see, the container is starting. The container started. Oopsies, the tail test has failed. And why did it fail? It says, yeah, so it wasn't true, right? So returned false for input, and this is our input. So it clearly didn't have these 4 checking events. Any ideas what went wrong? Sorry? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. Yeah. This is the direction. Come, please, after the session for a big sticker. This is the way. It somehow didn't start checking after the start. And why is the case? Why is this the case? Because when we check for these, where are these? Yeah, right. So the whole detector, little thought experiment. The whole detector starts. How many CO particles we have when it starts? 0. And how many all other particles we have? 0. Exactly. So what happens when you divide 0 by 0? Kaboom, right? So we need to tell it, don't bother testing if there's still vacuum, if you haven't detected anything. So we have to say if all equals big decimal 0 not, right? Then go with this other part, right? So now let's try to rerun this test. Okay, it may take a while. Any dad jokes, anyone? How many teleconsultants do you know do you need to change light bulb? Just 1, but they will do that when you have your lovely dinner. Yes, the tests have passed. Very nice, lovely. So off we go for the 3rd requirement. It should raise alarm when we reach certain level, right? So we go Control-Shift-T, remember, right? And we now go for the test, the last test, right? And we should check for this level. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating this client, which is part of for sure JDK 11, right? And I'm creating this URI, and now I'm asking the container to give me, let's go here and here. Yes, that would be better. So I'm asking the container to give me the host when it lives, because fun fact, it might not be living on my machine. That's why I can't put localhost. Germans put their Localhorst, right? You don't put that there. And, sorry, they're taking pictures. Yes, and then I'm asking for the first map port, because when I have only one port, then I can ask for the first one, right? Okay, I need to look pro, right? I need to look pro. Okay, and then I'm creating, you see, 100 virtual threads when I'm sending this oxygen particle, and then I'm sending just one carbon monoxide particle, and then I want this request to be sent within 10 seconds, and then I wait 1 second tops, right? To see if in the logs I see alarm, right? Right, so let's run this experiment CI-wise, because this is how many people apparently do that. They commit change, they don't test it locally because it's costly and they don't know that many dad jokes apparently, right? And then push it to CI, and then CI mangles the whole thing. Very nice. And then they come up in the morning and then discover all the test has failed, right? And then what happens the next morning? Then they have 2 more debug statements. And then after a week of this ping pong, which is difficult because, you know, attention span, context switching and everything, you end up with debug 1, debug 2, debug here for real final dot version 2, right? You lose your chance, man. Yes. And the test has failed. And just as I told you, in CI way, this would be difficult to take a look at this output, right? And now it's like for this input, see it said starting. Okay, so we had starting and checking and checking and checking, and then we have started and checking, and it still didn't raise the alarm. So what the heck, ideas? And this is the beauty of running integration tests from your machine. You don't have to have these, crazy ideas how to decipher this. You can run it on your machine and simply put a breakpoint and then debug. So let's suspend the TDD approach for a moment, right? Let's put a breakpoint here, and now let's run this test. Your ideas, what didn't work? I still have stickers. Right? Let's say we don't know, right? So it's, okay, it's another, okay, right? So we're here. Yes, let's check the logs of this container. We can do that. So as you can see, we can go for this debug, and I'm going to go container dot get logs, right? And evaluate. And this is it. So you see, starting, checking, start, and now it's still checking every second, it's checking. So it's not that it, despite that other test, stopped checking, it's still checking. And you might be saying, oh, but maybe it didn't record these particles, right? So let me see, it's listening from the outside on port 49171, right? So now let's open a terminal. Let me try to make this bigger for you, and let's go curl HTTP localhost, and what was the port? 49171, right? Okay. And this is it. Apparently, these particles are detected, right? And see, you don't have to wait for the CI to process it. You can run this test from your own machine. You can say, like in these bad gangster movies, everybody freeze! And then you put a breakpoint, right? And it freezes. And you can see, we can examine the logs, we can call the container, we could go exec and see what's inside this container and whatnot, right? So you can freely examine the real database, the state of real Kafka, real file system, real whatever. Like we are now talking to real stuff. So let me maybe show you. Apparently, we still are not good at math, because what happens, dear Java developers, everybody else is excused, when you sort of divide integerish bigint with another integerish bigint? You get integerish result, which is rounded to 0, right? That's why we need to, the whole point now is to put where the point is. So I'm going to say alarm level dot scale. Yes. So I'm going to put to tell it this divide method, be so picky to calculate that many numbers after the comma, right? After the point, right? Okay. Very nice. Let's run this experiment again. Sorry, not this terminal. I need this terminal. Let's run it. Yes, very nice. Very nice. So when I was flying here, I saw the ocean. Do you know what the ocean said to another ocean when they saw each other? Nothing. Nothing. They just waved. Build success. Very nice. Which means right, that we've built the darn thing, right? Because we trust our tests, right? Tests shouldn't be like stairs, right? You don't trust stairs. Stairs are always up to something, really. And the test should be really like verifying what's happening. And you might be happy, you clap, like great success, let's ship it, right? But then, fun fact, your manager or product owner comes and says, screw it, it's too heavy, it's Java. Haven't you been to Alina's talk, right? We need something native, right? So brainstorm, everyone, brainstorm, what do we do? And everyone is like, frenzy, what do we do? And one guy shouts, let's rewrite it to Rust. So what do? You throw him out of the window, of course, right? Because we're Java people, so what do? We listen to Alina and we native image all the things, right? So apparently, I do have it prepared and we won't do it live because that would take like, I don't know, a minute and a half and we are running out of time. We don't have this minute and a half and I have this jar turned into a native image. So the question is, how do we test it? And everyone is running like a headless chicken and like, we have to ship it because boss wants to. And then you say, relax. I've been to this talk, right? This intro to Testcontainers, and I'm telling you we can use our test suite. And you can go like this. Then we go, and now we are not going to run Java thingy. And by the way, this is demo, it might not work, right? So what we're going to put inside our container is not going to be jar, but let's play it Windows way. It's going to be this exe. And it's called, this file over here is called detector. So let's say it's detector, right? And then we're not going to test it in this image. We're going to test using Ubuntu.22.4, I believe. And then we're going to put not jar bar, but exe, and then we with exposed ports with this thing, and then we don't Java, but then we simply run this thing. What do we have to lose? What do we have to lose? It didn't work somehow. Maybe I did something wrong. What did I do? Yeah. Yes, of course. See, silly me. Whew. Another CI build, right? Let's see how it works this time. Now we see now it's Ubuntu starting, right? And it started in slightly more, but because 4 seconds, and now it's. Normally you wouldn't do that. Normally for all your tests you would start one container, right, and keep it running throughout your tests, right? This is how we would do. There are also other things you should be doing with containers, right? But this is like intro session, how to do that. And container Ubuntu started. Come on. I'm running out of dad jokes. Let me try to run it here maybe, or maybe it won't work. We'll see. We'll see. It's a demo session, and maybe you should have listened to this Rust guy. I don't know. Let's run it again. Okay, first test passed. So it at least checks one is okay. It raises an alarm, right? And now should start less than 4 seconds. Boom, we've done it. We've done it. Yes. Now, no. We played really badly, right? We don't throw people out of the window. We go and rescue this guy, apologize, and now we say, look, we have bought us some time. Now there's time to rewrite to Rust, and we have working test specification. And fun fact, you see, our integration test suite can be written in one language, in this very case Java, but let's say we can change it for Python or C# or JavaScript, right? And then our technology can be written in any other language. If we follow this golden master test, if you, after proper integration test, then of course it should be the same language stack, right? So we have changed the thing for a native thing and it still runs and we are sure about this, right? Even if the whole Spring or Scrum thing was basically right? Because they changed the requirements in the very last moment. Okay, yes. If you enjoyed playing with test containers, then maybe you'd like to go to this page, right? And if you are using a technology, like be a database or like Kafka or whatever, usually I would say you don't go for generic container as I did, but you go for testcontainers.org, and then you go for like, if you need help, if you need to discuss your idea, if it makes sense, if it's not something ridiculous, then you can join like Slack workspace or GitHub, or you can ask on Stack Overflow, or you can even like use Twitter, really, right? People help people. This is nice things about communities, right? And then you have some examples and whatnot. But the how was it called? The crown jewel is the modules thingy. So for example, if you need to run Kafka or whenever you need to run, like let's say MongoDB, you don't create it from scratch, you just use this module, right? And it's quite simple. You click here and it tells you that how to start the container, and it tells you that you should run this like in Gradle or this in Maven, right? Add it to your POM or build Gradle, and from there on you start with this. And I for example, who knows how to set up Kafka, like from your memory? Without checking any docs. One guy, okay. You also are eligible for a sticker. I mean, that's just token of appreciation, okay? I mean, the big one, everyone can get the small ones. I don't know how to set up Zookeeper and whatnot just from my memory, right? So, and you don't have to. This is the beauty of it. You can go for just Kafka container, right, and do this stuff, right? And then use it in your test, like Bootstrap servers and whatnot. And it integrates nicely with Spring Boot 3.1 and Quarkus is using it under the hood, for example, in this like dev mode or whatever it's called. Sorry, I forgot. Stress, people, stressed. I'm stressed here, right? And oops, here, right. So now the conference is reaching its end, right? I mean, there's like the most important part, which is going to be the party, of course. Make sure you don't miss it. But I ask always the participants, the audience, to tell the organizers, the speakers, how it was. What was good, what wasn't good, what could have been improved, right? Always do that. I mean, every meetup, like user group or whatever, not just conference, just share. Because you're doing this for yourself, okay? Next time you'll get a better content, right? So always, please provide like feedback, everyone. Today I accept feedback in any form, can be even like written form. I guess you should have these apps, right, from JNation conference. So use the app in case you can't use this app because whatever. Or you're watching us on YouTube, right? Or this live stream. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, right? But you can also fill this little anonymous form, right? Is to let me know how it went. Did you like it? What you didn't like? If you have any questions about test containers, you can also leave your email. I'll try to answer or whatnot. Yes, integration tests, my friends, are needed and simple. They are really about confidence. So we keep our integrity in real life, in real job, because before we ship the stuff we've built, right? We make sure it's really safe and useful for ordinary people, right? Not just IT folks like ourselves. So thank you very much. Muito obrigado. If you want to follow me for, I don't know, Java tips, IT insights, or just pool life advices, please do on Twitter or Mastodon. And this is the whole talk for you, like the slides and everything. Thank you. Thank you. Keep it coming. Yes.